Gee whiz.
Hello, friends. My name is John Henderson. Welcome to this series of old-time radio show episodes called Gee Whiz. These are the stories of the schemes, trials, and loves of the typical American teenagers, Andy Hardy, Archie Andrews, and Henry Aldrich. Coming up, Archie dances the Charleston, but first an episode of the Aldrich family. This episode is from October 26th, 1952.
Henry Aldrich!
Coming, Mother!
Yes, it's The Aldrich Family is transcribed, written by Clifford Goldsmith. Men who work with figures say that the average American family consists of 4.2 persons. And that certainly is true of the Aldrich family. For Sam and Alice, Mary and Henry always add up to 4.2. The extra 2/10 is contributed by Henry because he's a typical teenage boy plus a little something extra. The scene opens in the Aldrich hallway. The time is evening.
Hey, Henry, what are you doing?
Looking for the phone book, Homer.
Are your folks going to be there tomorrow?
Be where, Homer?
At school. Have you forgotten, Henry? Tomorrow is Parents' Day.
Shh, Homer, not so loud.
Huh?
My folks are right there in the living room.
Are they going, Henry?
No. Boy, am I lucky. They've forgotten all about it.
Well, how do you know?
Well, the notice came 2 weeks ago, and my mother put it on the table. Then about 3 days later, somebody threw it out. I forget who.
Boy, I sure hope my folks forget. If there's one thing I hate, it's Parents' Day.
Same here. You go all to pieces, too, on that day?
Henry!
Yes, Mother?
Why don't you and Homer come into the living room?
Well, I've got to put in a call, Mother.
Who are you going to call?
Viola Farnsworth. Thought you told me to get a date for tomorrow night.
Oh, sure, but what do you want to take Viola for?
Listen, Homer, she's a darn good-looking girl.
Number, please.
Elm 273.
Elm 273.
Yes, please.
Henry, didn't you ask Viola to go to something a week ago?
Sure.
And she turned you down, didn't she?
Homer, the reason she turned me down was because... Will you please stop breathing down my neck?
Henry, she'll only turn you down again. Why embarrass yourself?
Homer, do you hear me? Can't you go in the living room and read the National Geographic?
Okay, but don't say I didn't warn you.
Hello?
Hello? This is Hen.
Who?
Hen, don't you remember? Henry.
Oh,
How are you, Viola?
fine. Henry who?
Gee whiz, Henry Aldrich.
Oh, hello.
Are you studying hard for tomorrow?
You mean for Parents' Day?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, would you like to go to a dance tomorrow night?
With you?
Sure.
No, thank you.
Well, you mean you can't?
Yes.
Would you like to do anything Saturday night?
No, thank you. I'm going to be busy Saturday night.
How about a week from Saturday night?
Well, I can't very well tell what I'll be doing that far ahead.
Oh. Well, I guess I'll see you at school tomorrow.
You will? All right.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Hey, Henry.
Don't bother me, Homer.
Didn't I tell you shouldn't ask her?
Listen, Homer, you don't even know what she said to me.
All right, Henry. I wasn't going to tell you because I was afraid it'd hurt your feelings, but... Well, I happen to know Viola doesn't want to go out with you.
How do you know that?
She told Agnes Lawson.
She did?
Sure. Do you know what she said her folks said?
What?
That you weren't the right kind of company for her. And they didn't want her to be seen with you.
Mr. and Mrs. Farnsworth said that about me?
Why should you care what they say, Henry? You've got lots worse things to worry about than that.
What?
Well, I'm not sure, but when I was in the living room just now, I think I heard your father say something about coming to school tomorrow.
You couldn't have.
All I know, Henry, is what I thought I heard.
Gee whiz.
Where's my coat?
Right there on the floor.
You want me to get a date for you tomorrow night?
No, I don't.
Well, so long.
So long. And, Homer, when you see Agnes, will you please tell her to stop spreading stories about Viola?
What'd she say against Viola?
You know what you just told me.
Oh.
Father.
Yes?
Father, could I ask you something?
What's on your mind?
Well, how's business?
Business? Quite good, thank you.
Henry, have you done all your studying for this evening?
I'm getting my book out right now, Mother. Father, are you going to be busy tomorrow?
Why, I expect to be.
Where?
What do you mean, where?
Well, at the office or around town.
I'm going to my office in the morning, if that's what you mean.
You are? And will you be quite busy down there?
I hope so.
Well, I'm glad to hear the business is so good.
And I'm glad you feel that way.
Sam, can I get you something?
No, thanks. I'm going upstairs a moment. Henry, please get on with your homework.
I am, Father. Mother, do you mind if I ask you something?
If it hasn't anything to do with your algebra.
Gee, it hasn't anything to do with anything. Do you know Viola's mother and father?
Mr. and Mrs. Farnsworth? I know them slightly.
Oh. Mother, did Father say he was going to be busy all day?
Henry, I thought you were going to study.
I am studying my Latin. Look, I'm on page 18.
Well, suppose you keep right on then.
Omnes artes quae ad humani. You know what Agnes said somebody said about me?
What?
Never mind, nothing. But, gee, I don't see how our folks can jump to conclusions when they don't even know me.
Whose folks don't even know you?
Anybody's. Gee whiz, what's so terrible about me?
Henry, are you translating Latin?
Who, me? Sure. Mother, do you think Viola Farnsworth is so good looking?
What's that?
I mean, what right has Homer got?
Homer. Dear, is there something in that book that confuses you?
No, gee whiz. Mother, would you mind asking Mr. and Mrs. Farnsworth over here for dinner sometime?
Dear, we don't even know Mr. and Mrs. Farnsworth.
That isn't the point, Mother. You're just looking at things backwards.
Have you ever met the Farnsworths?
Well, yes, but only under what you might call unfavorable circumstances. So why couldn't you have them over here sometime and let them see what Father is really like?
What he's what?
Henry getting his work done?
What's that, Father?
Henry, I think you'd get a great deal more work done if you'd take your book and go up to your room.
Now?
Now.
Before Mother answers my question?
Henry?
Yes, Father, I'll go. Only first, Mother, may I ask one thing?
Well?
Well, if you should meet me on the street, out of a clear sky, see, and you never met me before, what would you say?
Why, I think I'd say, here comes a very fine-looking young man.
You would? Well, good night.
Good night.
Good night. Alice.
Yes, Sam?
Why in the world did he ask that?
Now, dear, didn't you ever wonder the same thing about yourself?
Yes, but I never went around asking people.
Sam, how would you like to have Mr. and Mrs. Farnsworth over for dinner some evening?
What on earth for?
Well, if I read between the lines, Henry wants them to see that his family is at least civilized.
Oh, what are the Farnsworths like?
Oh, I'd like to know, too, dear. Why couldn't we at least ask them to join us tomorrow?
You mean when we go over to the school?
Yes.
Why?
Well, they've never been to Parents' Day.
Well, give them a ring. Only, Alice, are you quite sure we shouldn't tell Henry that we're going to be there?
Sam, you know how nervous Henry got when we went last year. I think it would be much nicer just to surprise him. I'll bring your bacon in just a moment, Sam.
Did you reach the Farnsworths?
No, dear. I just tried them again.
They must be pretty social. Out last night, line busy this morning. I guess they're out of our class.
Will you call Henry, please?
Henry!
Yes, Father, I'm coming right now. Could you sort of tighten this tie for me, please?
What are you wearing a bow tie for?
Well, I don't know. I just thought maybe it would make me look different.
From what?
From...
Please sit down and eat your cereal.
Yes, Father.
And don't spill anything. I've never seen you look so neat, and I'd like to save the memory.
Yes, sir. Would you mind asking me some of the questions in this history book while I'm eating?
Very well. This is something you're going to have in school today?
Yes, sir. Well, in a way it is.
When did the Civil War start?
April 12th, 1861.
Did the move to secede have general acquiescence among the southern states?
What's that?
Did the move to secede have general acquiescence among the southern states?
Acquiescence? Will you pass the cream, please?
Here you are.
How do you spell that word?
A-C-Q-U-I-E-S-C-E-N-C-E.
Oh, acquiescence, sure. Naturally.
What does it mean?
Well, that was when the war started. Things were sort of mixed up in there.
Henry, suppose you go in the living room and look up the word in the dictionary.
Now?
Now.
Yes, Father. Acquiescence. A-C-Q-U-I.
Sam?
Yeah?
Well, there's still still busy.
Who?
The Farnsworths. I just tried to phone them again.
Alice, are you sure we shouldn't tell Henry that we're trying to get them to go down to the high school with us?
Dear, why not wait and make it a double surprise?
Father, acquiescence means to accept.
That's fine.
Kentucky didn't do it, and Missouri didn't know what to do.
Hey, Henry, anybody home?
Gee whiz, is that you, Homer?
You know what time it is?
Oh, boy. I've got to go, Mother. I certainly don't want to be late on... Goodbye, Mother.
Take your banana, dear.
I've got it.
Raise your tie.
Gee whiz, is that crooked again? And thanks very much for all your other help, Father. Goodbye.
Gee, Henry, am I sick?
What's the matter, Homer?
My darn folks are coming to school.
Oh, boy, that's tough.
And you know what's going to happen? My teachers are all going to call on me and make a fool of my whole family.
Boy, I'm sure glad I'm not in your shoes, Homer.
Miss Eggleston.
Yes, Homer?
I've got a wonderful idea.
Well, what is it, Homer?
As long as this is Parents' Day, don't you think it'd be a good idea if instead of my coming into English class, I act as sort of an usher?
An usher?
Well, sure. I'll stand right outside the classroom, see? And whenever I see a parent that doesn't look as though he knows where he's going, I'll say, wouldn't you like to step in here and listen to English?
Well, that's very thoughtful of you, Homer, but we're going to need you in the spelling bee.
In the spelling bee?
Of course. It's going to be one of the main features of the day. Some of the boys are going to spell against some of the girls. I think the parents would enjoy that, don't you?
If I'm in it, mine won't.
You are in it.
Oh, boy. Miss Eggleston, I know this sounds like an excuse, but frankly, I've got a sore throat.
Homer, I'm sorry, but I'm busy, and I shall have to ask you to leave the room.
Yes, Miss Eggleston, I'll go. But my throat's getting worse every second.
Hey, Homer.
Let me alone, Henry, will you?
How about delivering this note to Viola Farnsworth?
No.
Please, Homer.
Henry, why are you wasting time writing her notes?
I didn't write it. I didn't write a word of it. I just cut it out of a book.
Well, let's see it.
It's just a little write-up, Homer. Here, it's about my father.
Gee whiz, what was that printed in?
His college yearbook when he graduated. He was a big shot in his class.
Boy, does he look different. What did they call him? Dapper Sam?
Sure, Dapper Sam. Here, read the whole thing.
Dapper Sam Aldrich, perhaps a bit stuffy at times, but generous, brilliant, and most likely to succeed.
Pretty good, huh?
What do they mean by stuffy?
Well, my mother got him over that. How about it? Won't you please give it to Viola?
If I will you do something for me?
Sure.
Okay. Go in and tell Miss Eggleston you'd like to take my place in the spelling bee.
Oh, now, wait a minute, Homer. What spelling bee?
Just a little spelling bee. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Fun for who?
Henry, my folks are going to be there, and yours aren't.
Homer, I've got a sore throat.
Don't give me that. I thought you said you'd help me if I'd help you.
But, Homer, you know what my spelling is like.
Do you want me to give this note to Viola?
Well, sure, but that's entirely different.
Do you, or don't you want her to know your father used to be considered bright?
Students.
Good morning, Miss Buckley.
Before we begin our history, I think it would be very nice if we introduced our visitors. Class, this is Homer Brown's mother and father, Mr. and Mrs. Brown.
Good morning, Mr.
Brown. Now then, who would like to answer the first question?
Oh, I would, Miss Buckley.
Well, that's fine. But I think we should let Homer have the honor. Homer, will you stand up, please?
Yes, Miss Buckley. Don't you whiz my books?
Now, Homer, in what year did the Civil War begin?
Why, well, in what year?
In what year?
The Civil War? Was that in today's lesson, Miss Buckley?
Yes, it was.
Oh. Well, I guess I'm not thinking very fast.
Oh, that's quite all right, Homer. Suppose we let you sit down and give you another chance later on.
Yes, Miss Buckley.
Henry Aldrich, would you tell us the answer?
Who, me? Well, it was It was in 1861.
That is correct.
To be exact, April 12th.
Thank you, Henry. You may sit down.
Yes, Miss Buckley.
Well, I see we have some more visitors. How do you do? Class, we're glad to welcome Mr. and Mrs. Aldrich and Mr. and Mrs. Farnsworth. Good morning, Mr. I believe there are plenty of chairs right here in front.
Thank you.
Now then, suppose we let Viola Farnsworth answer this next question.
Yes, Miss Buckley.
What were the basic causes of the Civil War?
Slavery and economic difference.
Oh, that's fine. Now, the next question, I think we should let Henry Aldrich have the next one in honor of his parents. Henry?
Yes, Miss Buckley.
Did the move to secede have general acquiescence among the southern states?
Well, I'll tell you, Miss Barnes. I mean, Miss Buckley.
Take your time.
Well, I guess I'm afraid.
Henry, you told me at breakfast Kentucky and Missouri were doubtful states.
Oh, yes.
I'm sorry, Mr. Aldrich, but I'm afraid we'll have to ask our visitors not to give any assistance.
I beg your pardon.
Homer?
Yes, Miss Buckley?
That piece of paper that you just started to pass to Viola, does that have anything to do with our Civil War history?
Well, it's from around that time.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm quite sure then all of us will be interested in hearing what it has to say.
You mean you want to see this?
Will you stand up and read it, please?
The only thing is, it's...
Now, let's forget that we have visitors. Just stand up and read it right out.
Right out?
I think we should keep up on everything that any way pertains to history.
But, Miss Buckley...
Homer.
Yes, ma'am. It says... Dapper Sam Aldrich. Perhaps a bit stuffy at times, but generous and brilliant. Homer!
Sam!
Henry!
We'll return to the Aldrich family in just a moment. His voice has thrilled millions. His curly locks have been compared to spun gold. His background makes him a man among men. Who is he? None other than Phil Harris. And this evening, why not join Phil and his long-suffering wife, Alice Faye, in another of the funny misadventures? Then for another Theater Guild on the Air presentation, listen to Madeline Carroll, Burgess Meredith, and Melville Cooper in the Broadway hit Hobson's Choice. Each Sunday over most of these same NBC stations, Theater Guild on the Air brings you stars of Broadway and Hollywood. News comes next with Martha Roundtree's Meet the Press. And here is your chance to sit in on America's only public press conference as the personalities in the news answer questions asked by a panel composed of prominent reporters. So check your newspaper for broadcast times and listen in this evening for more top NBC radio entertainment with the Phil Harris Alice Faye Show, Theater Guild on the Air, and Meet the Press. And now getting back to the troubles of Henry Aldrich. Henry, not knowing his mother and father were planning to visit his school on Parents' Day, has agreed to take part in a spelling bee in place of Homer Brown. The scene opens in a school corridor, a few minutes before the contest is scheduled to begin.
You wait, Homer. You just wait.
Henry, could I help it if she made me read it?
If you think I'm going to go into that spelling bee for you, you're crazy.
But, Henry, you've got to.
Oh, no, I don't. I'm going to tell Miss Eggleston to put you back in.
Listen, Henry, you gave me your word. You're in the spelling bee.
Henry!
Yes, Father?
May I speak with you, please?
I know what you're going to say.
So long, Henry. I'm going into the arts and crafts exhibit.
Henry, I don't believe I've ever been quite so embarrassed in my life.
Father, I didn't know Homer was going to read that. The whole thing was out of my control.
That isn't what I'm referring to.
And what is it?
In history class, you're not remembering that it was Kentucky.
But, Father, my mind went blank.
Didn't I send you into the living room during breakfast to look up the key word acquiescence, and didn't you come back and tell me the correct answer?
Yes, Father.
Then why did you act as though you didn't have a tongue?
Because right at that minute, I couldn't have told you my own name.
Henry,
Yes, Mother?
where's the arts and crafts exhibit?
Gee, I don't think you and Father would enjoy seeing that, Mother.
Don't you have anything in there?
Well, yes, but wouldn't you rather have me take you around the building and show you the gymnasium or something?
And what room is the exhibit?
Well, I don't know the exact room.
Well, will you please go down the hall and ask someone?
Yes, Mother, I'll go.
Sam,
Yes, Alice?
I'm not sure, but I don't think I like the Farnsworths.
Frankly, I don't like them either.
Did you see Mr. Farnsworth's face when Henry couldn't answer that question?
I saw it.
Hey, Mother, the exhibit's right here in room 101.
Well, let's go in.
I warn you, you won't like it.
Oh, yes, we will. My goodness, look at all the things.
Look at that card table. Henry, did one of the students build that?
Yes, sir. But that was sort of an advanced course.
Henry, look out. You're backing into someone.
Oh, gee whiz, excuse me.
That's all right. I hardly felt it.
Oh, is that you, Mr. Farnsworth?
It is.
Henry, your father and I are going to walk over and look at the mechanical drawing.
All right.
Young man,
Yes, Mr. Farnsworth?
do you happen to know who built this model airplane?
Well, that was built by 5 or 6 of the boys. They all sort of got together on it.
Were you one of them?
No, I wasn't.
What did you build?
Well, I built this thing right here.
What is it?
Oh, it isn't anything. It's just a paperweight.
Well, how did you happen to put your time in on a thing like that? Well, it's nothing but a brass ball.
Well, I made it out of a square block, see, on a machine. I thought it'd be fun to see if I could make it perfectly round.
Father!
Yes, Viola?
Oh, hello, Viola.
We were just looking at Henry's paperweight.
Henry, did you make that?
Sure. Would you like me to show you some of these other things?
Oh, no, it's almost time for the spelling bee.
The spelling bee? Are you in that, too?
Of course.
Do you mean to say, young man, that you were in it?
Well, in a way I am.
It ought to be quite a contest.
Yes.
I was just looking at this card here by your paperweight. Did you letter this?
Yes, sir.
It says sphere made by Henry Aldrich. And sphere is spelled S-P-E-R-E.
How did I happen to spell it that way?
Henry, you kill me.
Listen, Viola, anybody would think you never made any mistakes.
Henry, isn't that the bell for the spelling bee?
Yes, I think it is, Father.
This is something I don't want to miss, Mr. Aldrich.
Your daughter pretty good at spelling?
Well, I'll certainly stake her against any boy, any time.
Yes? Well, just to be a good sport, I'll stake Henry against any girl.
Father, you don't really want to go in there, do you?
I'd like to see anyone keep me out.
Come on, Father, we're going to be late.
All right.
Sam, wait for me.
Mother, are you coming, too?
Of course I am.
Well, look, do you have any use for this paperweight on your desk?
Henry, did you make that?
Sure. Could you just put it in your pocketbook?
Well, dear, I can't very well carry a brass ball like that around. Aren't you supposed to leave it here on exhibit?
She was no. Don't know why I entered it here in the first place.
Sam.
What?
Put this paperweight in your pocket and hurry up or we'll be late to the spelling bee.
Now then, please. The boys will stand on this side of the room and the girls on the other side.
Yes, Miss Eggleston.
Incidentally, perhaps I should have said beforehand how delighted we are to have so many guests present. Mr. and Mrs. Farnsworth, Mr. and Mrs. Brown, Mr. Marshall, Mrs. Johnson, that's Teresa Johnson's aunt, of course, and Mr. and Mrs. Sam Aldrich. Now then, let's draw the first word for the girls' team. Betty Chase, your word is reconnoiter.
Reconnoiter. R-E-C-O-N-N-O-I-T-E-R.
Correct. And now the boys. Willie Marshall, I believe your word is to be erysipelas.
Erysipelas. E-A-R-Y-S-I-P-E-L-A-S.
Wrong.
Wrong.
Viola Farnsworth.
Erysipelas. E-R-Y-S-I-P-E-L-A-S.
That's very good. Viola's one of our best spellers. We're very proud of Viola. The next word will be spelled by Henry Aldrich.
Yes, Miss Eggleston.
Biscuit.
Biscuit?
Yes.
That you eat?
Well, if that's the way you think about it.
B-I-S-C-U-I-T?
Correct.
Correct?
The next word.
R-R-A-S-S-E-D. Embarrassed.
Correct. Well, there aren't quite as many standing as there were a few minutes ago, are there? No. Now, let me see. Toby Smith, the next word is psychology.
That's a sense, psychology. P-S-Y-C-H-O-L-O-G-Y.
Sorry, that's wrong.
Wrong?
Betty Chase, will you spell it for us?
Psychology. P-S-Y-C-H... Ologgy.
Correct.
But that's the way I spelled it.
Oh, no, you didn't.
Yes, you did, Miss Eggleston. That's great.
He did, boys?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, Toby, I wish you'd spell it a little more slowly. You may remain standing. And, Betty, you'll have to have another word.
Yes, Miss Eggleston.
Your word is deceitful.
DECEITFULL.
Wrong.
Oh, no, I wasn't. It's I before E except after C.
But that isn't where you went wrong. Henry Aldrich.
Yes, Miss Eggleston. DECEITFU. 1L.
Right. Wrong. Well, now there are only two left standing, which makes it very exciting. Viola Farnsworth and Henry Aldrich. The next word is for Henry. Ukulele.
Ukulele. UK. No. UK. No.
Well, which is it?
UK. UKULELE. Ukulele.
Right. Now, Viola, your word is acquiescence.
Oh, gee whiz.
I'm sorry, let's not have any remarks. It's Viola's turn.
Acquiescence. AQUIESCENCE.
You're wrong. Now, just a moment. Viola's not down unless Henry spells it correctly. Henry, it's up to you.
Oh, boy.
Oh, come on, Henry. You can do it, Henry. Come on.
Come on, Hen.
Quiet now, please. Let's not confuse him.
Acquiescence. Acquiescence. AQUIESCENCE.
Right. The boys win.
Well, son, were you nervous?
Well, I was at first, Father, but all of a sudden I forgot that you were in the room and Mother and Mr. and Mrs. Farnsworth. And then I remembered breakfast and you sitting there with my book and your boiled egg. And then... then acquiescence came right back into my mind.
Sam, the Farnsworths left word that they were driving on home.
Alone?
I think they preferred going alone.
Well, the feeling is mutual.
Hey, Henry, you're wanted in the main office.
Oh, gee whiz.
Mr. Bradley sore as the deuce.
What about?
Well, didn't you take that paperweight out of the arts and crafts exhibit?
Sure, but it's mine, Homer.
That doesn't make any difference. He says you're to take it right straight back and leave it there until you get your award.
My award?
Well, that's what I'm trying to tell you. You got third prize for form and precision.
No kidding. Well, what do you know?
And Viola wants an answer to a note she gave me to give to you.
A note from Viola? Where is it, Homer?
I lost it.
You lost it?
I remember what she said, though.
Well, what did she say?
Dear Henry, would you please accept my humble apologies?
Well, Homer, tell her I acquiesce.
Under the symbol of the red feather, more than 17,000 local agencies serve their communities. For instance, the United Community Campaigns must raise money for old people who need clinic care, nursing service, or a chance to learn a new skill in order to support themselves. And for children to whom family life has been denied and who need institutional or foster home care. So, when you make your October pledge to the Red Feather Campaign, remember that it's a United Community Campaign, and pledge something extra this year. Give the United way. The Aldrich Family is transcribed as written by Clifford Goldsmith. Henry is played by Bobby Ellis and Homer by Jack Grimes. Mr. and Mrs. Aldrich are House Jameson and Catherine Roth. Your announcer is Dick Dudley.
That was the Aldrich Family from 1952, and now, the Archies.
You make me wanna dance, you make me wanna sing, you make me wanna laugh and be happy again.
In this episode of The Adventures of Archie Andrews, they mention the dancing movie stars Fred Astaire, Eleanor Powell, Donald O'Connor, and Gene Kelly. The Charleston was a dance that gained popularity in the 1920s. Here in the 50s, kids were still dancing the Charleston. Here's an episode from November 18th, 1950.
Hello? Oh, Jughead, this is Archie. Come over right away. It's a matter of life or death. Oh, relax, Archie. Relax.
Yes, there he is again. The youngster biggest of readers of Archie Comics Magazine know and love so well, Archie Andrews and all his gang. And now for our weekly visit to Riverdale. It's Saturday afternoon as we look in on the Andrews home, and at the moment we find Mrs. Andrews working around the living room.
Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene.
Mary, guess what? Guess what just happened?
Hey, for pity's sake, what are you doing here? I thought you were going downtown to do some shopping.
Mary, I was, but just as I was backing the car out of the driveway, guess what happened?
You backed into the tree again.
Right. I ran smack dab into that No! I did not run into the tree again. Just because you keep backing into that tree, you needn't act like...
I keep backing into that tree. Now, who dented the fender last week?
Well, I did.
And who bent the bumper 2 weeks ago?
Oh, me, but
and who scraped the chrome strip right off the side of the car last month?
I did, but...
And who hit that truck on Main Street last summer?
Mary! All right, so I wreck the car every time I get behind the wheel. And I'm a menace to traffic, and I probably should have my license revoked. But at the moment, I do not want to talk about cars. I want to tell you what happened.
Well, who's stopping you?
Oops. Oh, fine. Mary, you are stopping me by bringing up other issues when I'm trying to tell you what Mrs. Hastings just told me.
Mrs. Hastings?
Yes, Mrs. Hastings. She was passing by just as I was coming out of the driveway. And guess what happened?
You backed into Mrs. Hastings.
That's right. I knocked her down and... No! I did not back into Mrs. Hastings or a tree or anything else. I stopped to talk to her.
Fred, for pity's sake, what's so unusual about talking to Mrs. Hastings?
Nothing, but it might interest you to know that she is chairman of the nominating committee of the Parent Teachers Association. And they had a meeting this morning. And whom do you think they nominated to be president of the association?
Fred, don't tell me they nominated...
None other.
Why, Fred, that's wonderful.
You bet it is. Yes, sir. This is about the biggest honor I've ever had.
Oh, but Fred, I think you better...
This makes me really proud. Just think, Mary. Fred Andrews, president of the Parent Teachers Association.
Now, Fred, aren't you counting your chickens before they're hatched?
What the chickens or chickens got to do with this? First you talk about denting fenders and now chickens. I don't know.
Fred, I mean, you're not the president yet. What about the election?
Election?
Of course. Mrs. Hastings' committee only nominates the candidates. You still have to be elected.
Oh, good grief. That's why she kept talking about Bob Lodge. I was so excited I didn't realize what you were saying.
You mean you're running against Bob Lodge?
That's right. I knew there was a catch in it someplace.
Catch? What catch?
Well, Mary, it's obvious. If Bob Lodge is running against me with his money and influence, I haven't got a chance of a snowball in July.
Oh, now, wait a minute. There's no reason to give up so easily.
Mary, I'm not giving up so easily. It's just that I've run against that guy for a dozen different offices, and he's beaten me every time.
But maybe you'll win this time.
No, not a chance. Bob Lodge is too strong. He's got influence. He's got connections. Hey, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Fred, what is it?
I'm not licked yet. No, sir. Mary, this...
Hiya, Dad.
Hello, Archie. Mary,
Hiya, Mom. Hello, dear.
Mary,
how's everyone today?
Fine. Mary, this
well day today, isn't it?
Archie, I'm trying to talk to your mother. Do you mind?
She was Dad. I don't mind.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Archie!
Okay, Dad, okay.
Okay. Now, Mary, as I was about to say, this is one election where I beat Bob Lodge.
But how, dear?
It's as simple as can be. Now, there's only one man in this town who has any real influence with the PTA, and that is Mr. Weatherby.
My principal?
Yes, your principal. Anybody Mr. Weatherby endorses is as good as elected. And if there's one thing Mr. Weatherby doesn't care about, it's Bob Lodge's money.
What does he care about?
He cares about dignity and education, good breeding, and all that sort of stuff. So all I had to do was go over there and convince Weatherpuss that I had dignity, education, and a serious interest in the problems of youth.
Oh.
And as soon as I convince him of that, the election is in the bag.
Fred, that's a wonderful idea.
Of course it is. I thought of it, didn't I? Mary, hand me my hat.
Oh, here you are,
Yes,
dear.
sir. I'll go and see old man Weatherby right now. And by the time I leave his house, I will be the president-elect of the Parent Teachers Association.
Oh, I hope so, dear. But remember, dignified and serious.
Mary, you are looking at the newest, most dignified citizen of Riverdale. I bid you adieu.
Adieu to you. That man, he gets so excited about it. Oh, dear, now who can that be?
Oh, I'll get it, Mom.
Hello?
Hello, Archie.
Oh, it's Veronica. I'll be in the kitchen if you want me, Archie.
Okay, Mom.
Hi, y'all, Archie
It's awful nice to hear your voice, Archie. But, the reason I called...
Yes, Veronica?
You know the school dance we're going to tonight?
Yes, Veronica.
Well, they're having a big dance contest, and I entered our names in.
Gee whiz, you did?
Uh-huh. I hope you don't mind.
Oh, gee whiz, Veronica, I don't mind. In fact, I feel flattered that you think I danced good enough to want to enter a contest with me.
Well, of course you do, Archie. I'd never go out with you if you weren't a good dancer. And I just know we'll win that contest tonight.
Oh, don't worry, Veronica. We can't miss.
I think so, too, Archie. Well, I'm going to get to the beauty parlor. Goodbye now, Archie.
Goodbye now, Veronica. That's Veronica. What a gal. Wants me to enter a dance contest with her. Archie, will you answer that? Okay, Mom. Oh, what a gal. Thinks I'm a good dancer. Thinks I'm good enough to work. Hello. She was Jughead. What'd you expect? The thing? No, Jughead, and I didn't expect you either. Come on in. Jug, I was just talking to Veronica. She's entered our names in the dance contest tonight. Dance contest? Uh-huh. She thinks that she and I ought to win. But I said she wouldn't ever go out with me if I wasn't a good dancer. Yeah. Can't you just see me now, Jug? Veronica in my arms. The music playing. And I... Step on her feet. Step on her feet? No! Jughead, I don't step on her feet. I whirl her around and around with grace and agility. And everyone is watching us. And we're the best couple on the floor. Oh, Jug, we're bound to win that contest.
Well, maybe so. But since when do you know how to do the Charleston?
I don't, but Veronica doesn't... Charleston? Jughead, what are you talking about?
About the Charleston. You knew the contest tonight is a Charleston contest, didn't you?
Charleston contest? Oh, boy, no, Jug. Veronica didn't say a word about Charleston. She just said dance contest. Oh, Jughead, I can't Charleston to save my life.
Well, you better call Veronica back and tell her.
Oh, but, Jug, I can't tell Veronica that. Why, she just said that she wouldn't ever go out with me if I wasn't a good dancer. Oh, if she finds out I can't Charleston, she'll break our date.
If she finds out later, she'll break your neck.
Oh, Jug, what'll I do?
Don't look at me. I know how to Charleston.
Jughead, you do?
Sure, but I'm not in the contest, so I don't have to worry.
Jughead, that's the answer to my prayers.
What is?
You're knowing how to do the Charleston. I got to learn how to do it by tonight, and you're going to teach me.
Oh, but
Jug, you got to do it. You got to. I'll give you my picture of Denise Darcell.
It's a deal.
Oh, okay. Now, show me how that dance goes.
Okay, now you start like this now. Now, just watch me.
Yeah.
Charleston, make Carolina someday.
Please, not so fast.
Charleston,
Will you cut that out?
Who, me?
Yes, you.
I thought you wanted me to teach you the Charleston.
I did, Jug, but you...
Well, I'm teaching you, aren't I?
Jughead, you aren't.
Huh?
How the dickens do you expect me to learn anything with you jumping around here a mile a minute going, Charleston, some dance, some prince? Jughead, what kind of business is that?
Well, how else can I teach you?
By showing me one step at a time, Jug, slowly, that's how. Then when I learn the step, I can try to do it fast.
Oh, okay. So you start with your left foot and...
Yeah.
No, I guess you start with your right foot and...
Jughead, make up your mind. Is it the left or the right?
Well, it all depends if you're a boy or a girl.
Jughead, tonight I think I'll be a boy.
Oh, well, then you start with this foot.
Okay.
Now, see
if I can do that. I step like this.
No, not like this. Like this.
Like this?
No, not like this.
Gee, I don't seem to be able to get it, Jug.
Archie, look. The only way I can show you is for me to get down on the floor and move your feet for you.
Oh, okay, Jug, that sounds like a good idea.
All right, now, don't step on me. I won't. Okay, now, see, you move this foot here.
Yeah.
And here.
Yeah.
Now, this one over here. Now, get your way.
I can't.
Get your way.
I'm trying to, Jug. Quit pulling my leg up. Well, don't just stand there, Jughead. Pick me up. Okay, never mind the apology. Just give me your hand so I can get up. Okay, Archie. There. Thank you. Boy, you almost killed me. Boy, oh, now what?
Hello, Archie. What are you doing?
Hi, Betty. I'm trying to learn to Charleston.
Charleston? Oh, golly, Archie, isn't that a wonderful dance?
Betty, from what I've seen of it so far, it's a menace to life and limb.
Oh, I think it's wonderful. It's the latest thing. All the kids have learned how to do it. I'm just wild about it.
Yeah, I know, but you're just wild about it. Betty, you mean you know how to Charleston?
Sure I do, Archie.
Oh, Betty, that's wonderful. That's terrific. You're just the one.
The one what?
The one to teach me to Charleston. I gotta know how to do it by tonight. I'm entered in the Charleston contest.
Oh, golly, Archie, I'll be glad to teach you.
Gee, would you?
Oh, sure I do. I know all those dances.
Huh?
Charleston, Charleston, Maine, Carolina, some dance, some Frank. Isn't that wonderful, Archie?
Yes, Betty, but would you show
and
me?
And I know all the others, too, like the Black Bottom.
Oh, Betty, I just...
They call it the Black Bottom, a new twister. It's your got 'em. Isn't it cute?
Yes, Betty.
And then there's the cakewalk. It goes like this.
Betty, I just want to know
the
this
shining
Charleston.
bright on the levee tonight. Showboat is coming.
Betty, I want to
There'll be music galore on the old river shore.
Betty, I...
About 8:45. Isn't that peachy?
Yeah, but Betty, I want to...
And then there's the shimmy. It goes like this.
Betty, I just...
Oh, I wish that I could shimmy like my sister Kay.
Betty,
she shivers like the jelly on a plate.
Betty, could
my
you...
My mammy wanted to know last night. My older boy, sweet sister Kay, so nice.
Betty!
Golly, Archie, what are you shouting about?
Betty, I am shouting to tell you that it is very nice that you know how to do the cakewalk and the black bottom and the shimmy. But all I'm interested in is the Charleston. Understand the Charleston. I don't have much time, and I got to learn it this afternoon.
All right, Archie, all right. Don't get so excited. I can teach it to you in 5 minutes.
Okay. Veronica and I just got to win that contest.
Of course you've got to win. Who has to win the contest?
Veronica. Oh, I mean, I said, somebody's going to win that contest.
I heard you the first time, Archie Andrews. You're going to enter that contest with Veronica.
But, Betty, I only...
And you expect me to stand here and teach you how to Charleston all afternoon so you can go dance with Veronica?
Betty, I only asked...
Well, you're not getting any Charleston lessons from me, Mr. Andrews. All I'll give you is this.
Well, don't just stand there, Judge. Hey, pick me
Yes, sir, I'll have Weatherby convinced I'm the man for this job in no time. Yes, sir, I'll get his endorsement just like I told Mary I would. Yes, sir, now, serious and dignified, that's the way to do it. I'll just...
Well, Mr. Andrews.
Hi, Weatherby, old boy. Good afternoon, Mr. Weatherby.
Well, this is a pleasant surprise. Come in, Mr. Andrews, come in.
Thank you, Mr. Weatherby. That's very kind of you. Very kind indeed.
May I take your hat?
Thank you very much.
Now, sit down, Mr. Andrews. Sit down.
Thank you very much indeed.
Now, to what may I attribute this visit?
Well, I'll tell you, Mr. Weatherby. I want to talk to you about... I have called upon you in order to discuss with the full detail it deserves a matter of considerable magnitude.
Yes.
It has become my privilege, as you may by this time be aware, to have the nominating committee of the Parent Teachers Association nominate me for the position of president of that worthy organization.
Yes?
And I feel that your endorsement of a particular candidate in this election is tantamount to his election.
Yes.
Therefore, I want to state that although our personal friendship has always been very warm and very strong, I want you to endorse the candidate who has the dignity and the stature to cope with so responsible a position, no matter whom that candidate may be.
Well, now that's a very fine statement you just made, Mr. Andrews.
Oh, it wasn't anything to...
Very fine. It showed dignity, seriousness, good character.
Oh, now, really,
You know, Mr. Lodge just said the same thing.
Yes, I thought he would. Mr. Lodge? When did Mr. Lodge say that?
Just a little while ago. Stopped by and said the same thing that you did. Now, isn't that a strange coincidence? Practically word for word.
Yes, that is strange. It's very strange. The old horse thief?
I was glad to know that he felt that way, too. So I promised to continue the discussion with him tomorrow at his house.
Tomorrow at his house?
That's right. Invited me to have dinner with him.
Dinner? Why, the old fraud.
Pardon?
Oh, I said, that's another strange coincidence.
Is it?
Yes, sir, it certainly is, because it just so happens I was going to ask you to come to dinner at our house tonight.
Tonight?
That's right, sir. In fact, if you have nothing to do right now, why not let me drive you back to my house, and we can have a nice, quiet chat and a fine, leisurely dinner.
Mr. Andrews, I'd be delighted. Delighted. You're sure that I won't be intruding?
Intruding? Why, of course not, Mr. Weatherby. At our house, we're always glad to see you. Always.
Gee whiz, Archie, are you sure you want to do this?
Jughead, what choice do I have? I gotta learn the Charleston by tonight or Veronica will never talk to me again. And you can't teach me and Betty won't teach me. I gotta try this dance school.
Well, okay, but it seems like an awful waste of money to me.
Jughead, money is no object at a time like this. Oh, here's the place now, Jug. Madame La Rumba. Dance lessons. $1 a lesson. Let's go up. It's on the second floor.
Okay, but I still say you're wasting your money.
Jug, I have time for one lesson, and that should teach me enough so I can at least get out on the dance floor with Veronica.
Well, I hope so.
Oh, I think this is the place, Jug, here. Oh, come on, the sign says walk in.
Boy, what a joint.
Jug, don't say that.
Well, what can I do for you boys?
Are you Madame La Rumba?
That's what my friends call me.
Oh. Well, I want to learn to do the Charleston by 6 o'clock.
You're kidding.
Oh, no, I gotta learn the Charleston by 6 o'clock. Don't you think you could teach me some of it?
Sonny, I couldn't teach Fred Astaire to Charleston in one lesson. Now, how about a nice foxtrot or a waltz?
Oh, no, it's gotta be the Charleston.
Oh, brother, I don't know what this business is coming to. People come in here and want to learn a little two-step. But you want to be Gene Kelly, Eleanor Powell, and Donald O'Connor all rolled up into one before 6 o'clock. Now, are you sure you don't want to learn the foxtrot? It's a real nice dance.
No, the Charleston.
Okay, we can try it. But it'll cost you $1, cash in advance.
Yes, ma'am. Here you are.
Okay. Oh, does he want to learn the Charleston, too?
Me? Oh, no, I'm just watching.
Well, thank heavens for that, anyway. Now, wait till I turn this record player on. There we are. Now, you just watch my feet and you do what I do. You understand?
Yes, ma'am, I'll try.
Okay, here we go. Da-da-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Da-da-da. That's right. You know, you just follow me. That's right.
Oh, see what did I step on your foot?
Oh. Sonny, are you sure you don't want to learn the foxtrot?
Gee, I'm awfully sorry I stepped on your foot, but it's got to be the Charleston.
Okay, forget it. That's what I get paid for. Now, come on, but this time lift your feet off the floor. Stop shuffling.
Yes, madam.
Okay. Da-dum-dum-dum. Da-da-da-da-da-da. That's right. Get your feet up.
Yeah.
This is a peppy dance. Now, hey, watch out for my gown. Oh.
Did I rip your skirt?
Oh, Sonny, you tore the hem all to pieces.
Gee whiz, I'm sorry, but it's such a long gown.
Listen, you wear what you want and I'll wear what I want.
Huh?
Now, look, the foxtrot is a very nice...
But I gotta learn the Charleston.
Oh, brother. All right, let's get this over and done with. Now, this part is the break.
Break?
Yeah, the break. You throw your partner back from you and you kick like this. See? Dum-dum, dum-dum, da-da-da-da-da. First one foot and then the other. See? There, you got it?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, now try it.
Well, all right. Yeah, I got it.
Okay, good. Don't get so near the record player. I don't want to... Hey, look out for the mistake!
Archie, maybe you ought to learn the foxtrot.
Gee whiz, I knocked the record player over, didn't I?
And you practically knocked me out of business, too. How am I going to teach dancing with no photograph?
Gee, I'm awful sorry.
Sonny, I heard all the apologies I'm going to hear. Hey, you, open that door.
Me?
Yes, you.
Yes, sir. Yes, madam.
I'm awful sorry, Madame La Rumba. Hey, what are you doing?
Showing you a new step I just invented.
Hey, let go of my collar. Let go of my arm. What are you doing? Let go of me.
At this point, it's a pleasure.
No!
And don't come back again.
Well, don't just stand there, Jughead. Pick me up. Well, here's was home sweet home again. No dollar and no Charleston.
She was Archie. Maybe there's something else she can do.
Jug, let's face it, this is the end. I don't know how to Charleston, and I never will know how. So I might just as well call Veronica now and tell her the bad news.
Archie, is that you?
Yeah, it's me, Mom.
Well, hello, dear. Hello, Jughead.
Hello.
Well, and where have you two been all afternoon?
Oh, just downtown, Mom.
Archie, something wrong?
Oh, no, Mom. Not a thing. Everything's fine and dandy. I just gotta call Veronica, that's all. And what she'll say to me shouldn't happen to a dog. And I'll probably never get a date with her again. But aside from that, everything's fine.
Well, what's all this about?
Oh, the Charleston, Mom.
What?
The Charleston, the dance. There's a big contest tonight, and I'm supposed to enter it with Veronica. But so far, I haven't been able to learn one step of it. Jug tried to teach me, and Betty tried, and I even went to a dancing school. But none of it helped.
Well, for pity's sake, why didn't you ask me?
Well, you? Oh, Mom. Mom, how would you know a new dance like the Charleston?
New dance?
Yeah.
Archie, I was dancing the Charleston 10 years before you were born.
Yeah, huh?
Gee whiz. Of course. After all, I was young once, too, you know.
Gee whiz, Mama, I know that, but do you think you could teach me?
Well, Archie, I could... Oh, dear, Jughead, see who that is. Please.
Okay, Mrs. Andrews.
Archie, of course I can teach you. And if you take after my side of the family at all, you'll know how to Charleston in 5 minutes.
Oh, boy, Mom.
Mrs. Andrews.
Oh. Hello, Mrs. Andrews. Hello, Archie. I just came back to apologize for losing my temper before.
Oh, that's okay, Betty. My mother's going to teach me the Charleston.
You, Mrs. Andrews?
Well, if I haven't forgotten it, I am, Betty.
Well, golly, I can play it on the piano for you, Mrs. Andrews.
Oh, Betty, that'd be fine. It'll help me remember. Now, you just watch me, Archie, until I'm sure I know how it goes. Go ahead, Betty.
Okay, Mrs. Andrews.
Charleston, Charleston,
baby, Mom. Hey.
Oh, boy.
Okay, come right here, Mr. Weatherby. Mary! What are you doing? Mr. Weatherby, please, excuse this terrible... Mary, please! Mary, please! Mr. Weatherby is here!
Mr. Weatherby? Oh, dear.
Gee whiz.
Oh, Mr. Weatherby,
I'm terribly sorry, Mr.
Mom was
Weatherby.
Mary teaching me, Dad.
Oh,
Archie, please.
out of the dance studio.
Jughead, who
I
asked...
could teach him, and I could.
Oh,
Fred,
Betty,
why didn't you tell me you were bringing Mr. Weatherby home?
Now, look, just a minute here. Just 1 minute.
Oh.
All right, that's better. Now, this nonsense has gone far enough. Oh, Mr. Weatherby, I'm terribly sorry. Really, I am. I don't know what you must think of us or what I can say about it.
Well, then don't say anything.
I
really see nothing for you to apologize about.
My wife doing the Charleston like that. I don't want you to think we're not dignified or serious around here.
Mr. Andrews, if you must know, I was beginning to think that you were too serious.
Huh? You mean you don't object to the Charleston?
Object? Mr. Andrews, it just so happens that when I was a youth, I was known to my intimates as Charleston Charlie.
What? Huh?
In fact, I presume I am still capable of a bit of terrascopy, you know. Mrs. Andrews, would you mind?
Why, not at all. Betty, you go ahead and play, dear.
Golly, sure.
Charleston, made in Carolina. There. I think that's about enough for this time.
Wow.
Thank you, Mrs. Andrews. That was charming.
You're welcome.
Now I've seen everything.
No, not yet. You haven't, Mr. Andrews.
What?
You mean you're going to do the black bottom?
Not quite, Forsyth. But I am going to see that Mr. Andrews is the next president of the PTA.
You are?
I certainly am. Anybody who can take me back to my youth like this, well, it's certainly the right man to deal with children's problems. As far as I'm concerned, you are our man.
Oh, dear, Jughead, answer that.
Okay, Mrs. Andrews.
Good grief, Mr. Weatherby. Then I get your endorsement for president of the PTA?
You do.
Oh, Fred, that's wonderful.
Oh, Mary, everything's fine after all.
Yeah, everything's fine after all, except my learning how to do the Charleston. I still don't...
Veronica, Archie.
Oh, Veronica. Veronica, what are you doing here?
Well, Archie, I just stopped by to tell you that I just took our names out of that dance contest tonight.
Took them out? Why?
Because I just found out that contest is a Charleston contest. And I couldn't do those new dances to save my life.
Well, don't just stand there, Jughead. Pick him up!
I couldn't do those new dances to save my life.
Well, don't just stand there, Jughead. Pick him up!
The Andrews will be back in just a moment. But first, well, you know, according to travel authorities, some 500,000 Americans will take vacation trips abroad next year. Now, will you be one of those fortunate ones who'll visit relatives in the old country? Will you make that European trip that you've always dreamed of? Or see the sights and play in South and Central America? Well, the chances are that you won't. Unless you've saved your money regularly. And that's much easier to do than it sounds. When you join the payroll savings plan where you work and buy United States savings bonds, it's automatic saving because the money is regularly set aside for you before you get the chance to spend it. And whatever you invest in savings bonds earns more money for you, pays off $4 for every 3 in just 10 short years. So don't just envy travelers, be one of them. Join the payroll savings plan. You'll be glad you did. And now back to the Andrews. It's the next morning, and we find our boy Archie just coming down to breakfast.
Good morning, Mom.
Oh, good morning, dear. Well, how'd everything go at the dance last night?
Oh, fine, Mom, fine. We all had a swell time after all, and we had a lot of fun just watching the Charleston contest.
Oh, good. Well, sit down and eat your breakfast, dear. I have to take this tray up to your father.
Tray? Oh, isn't Dad coming down for breakfast?
No, dear. After you left for the dance, your father sprained his ankle, showing Mr. Weatherby how he does the Charleston.
You've been listening to another chapter of The Adventures of Archie Andrews, written by Carl Jampel and based on the copyrighted feature appearing in Archie Comics magazine. Archie is played by Bob Hastings, Jughead by Harlan Stone. Mom and Dad Andrews are played by Alice Sherman and Arthur Cole. Veronica and Betty by Gloria Mann and Rosemary Rice. Also heard in today's cast were Arthur Maitland as Mr. Weatherby and Ann Thomas as Madame La Rumba. This program is produced and directed by Kenneth McGregor. Oh, and those of you who'd like to see our show, write for tickets to Archie Andrews, NBC, Radio City 20, New York. We'll get tickets to you as fast as we can. That address again is Archie Andrews, NBC, Radio City 20, New York. Now listen next Saturday at the same time for more of the merry adventures of Archie Andrews. This is Dick Dudley wishing you a very pleasant weekend. So long, everybody.
That was Archie from 1950, and now one more episode of The Aldrich Family. In this episode, they mentioned the latest book by Ernest Hemingway, which came out a month earlier. It was called The Old Man and the Sea. This episode is from October 12th, 1952.
Henry Aldrich!
Coming, Mother.
Yes, it's The Aldrich Family, transcribed and written by Clifford Goldsmith. Everyone knows Centerville, USA, because it's your own hometown. And everyone knows the Aldrich family because they're your very next-door neighbors. And everyone especially knows Henry Aldrich because he's your son's pal, your daughter's boyfriend, a real American boy. The scene is the Aldrich living room. The time is early evening.
Henry, get washed. Dinner's almost ready.
All right, Mother.
Sam, I think Henry's getting ideas again about my birthday present this year. I hope you gave him a clear hint as to what I wanted.
I did.
A clear hint?
Well, I told him you wanted Hemingway's new book, The Old Man and the Sea. Is that a clear hint?
With Henry, I'm not sure. Did he say anything?
No, but I had a definite feeling he was wondering why you were interested in other old men when you had me.
Now, dear, I just hope it sinks in. I don't want another pair of Siamese fighting fish like last year. It was depressing the way those two fish hated each other.
Father?
I've been here with your mother, Henry.
Jeepers, I didn't mean to interrupt.
It's all right, dear. I was just telling your father how much I wanted to read The Old Man and the Sea.
The Old Man and... What's that, Mother?
Sam.
I'll try again.
Father, did I tell you what I'm going to put over on Charlie Clark? Boy, am I going to make money.
Put over on him? Henry, I hope you're not planning to do something you shouldn't.
Oh, no. Charlie wants to buy this flashlight, see? And I'm
You're
gonna...
selling the flashlight I bought you this summer?
Oh, no, sir. One just like it.
Looks the same to me.
Well, sure. They're both super ray hydrojet cosmic beams. Only this one doesn't work.
Oh.
Charlie wants to buy my super ray hydrojet cosmic beam, only I wouldn't sell it, see? But today I happened to be talking to another guy, and he said, just casually, do you want to buy a super ray hydrojet cosmic beam? And it was exactly like mine, except for the difference. So I said, I'll give you 25 cents for it. He said 30. I said, no, 25. He said...
How much did you finally pay for it?
30 cents.
And now you have two something or other cosmic beams?
Well, sure. But isn't it clear, Father? I'll buy batteries for 25 cents, sell one flashlight to Charlie for $1, and make 50 cents clear profit. Father, would you care to take a look at it?
Why should I look at it?
Well, I just thought maybe you'd like to make an offer.
I have a flashlight.
But do you have one you can buy for $1? I mean, well, this one will help you see where you're going.
I'm sorry, Henry, but I know where I'm going.
Mother, would you like to get in on the opportunity?
Mother, I think the potatoes are ready.
Be right there, Mary.
Would you, Mother?
No, thank you, Henry.
You wouldn't be interested in owning something that could keep you from stumbling over stuff? Mother?
Apparently she'd rather stumble.
Father, now that Mother's gone, I can tell you why I'm making all this money.
Why?
It's for her birthday.
Well, I thought you had some money, at least enough to give her that book she wants.
Oh, I have, Father. But I certainly don't want to give her just a book for her birthday. After she slaved over me all these years.
She wants Hemingway's book, son.
This flashlight is only the beginning. I'll make at least 50 cents on it. Then I'll invest that and double it. Then I'll invest that and triple it. Gee, by the time her birthday comes around, I can get her anything.
What she wants, Henry, is the book.
Henry?
Yes, Mother?
Will you answer the phone, please? And if it's for you, keep it short. Dinner's in 5 minutes.
Sure, Mother. You know, Father, I wonder why more people don't go into business.
Please answer the phone.
Yes, sir. I'm answering it. Hello?
Henry, my mother said you wanted me to call you about something, and I'm also to say we've got to eat in 3 minutes.
Oh, is that you, Charlie? Hello, Charlie, old-timer.
What do you want, Henry?
It's a great opportunity, Charlie. I've located a swell super ray hydrojet cosmic beam.
So what?
Well, I might be willing to sell it to you.
I don't want one anymore.
You don't want one?
I'm going to save up and get a camera.
Oh, gee whiz, Charlie, that leaves me holding two super... That's no way to do business.
Who's talking about business? I just want a camera now.
Well, wouldn't you like a flashlight so you could see where you're going?
I'd rather take pictures and see where I've been.
But, Charlie...
So long.
Oh, boy.
I've got to go to class, Henry. Either you do or you don't want to buy this camera.
But, Homer, $2 for a second-hand camera?
You sound like my mother at the meat market.
Wait a minute. Would you take this super ray hydrojet cosmic beam for it?
That? Oh, gee, let's see it.
It isn't like any ordinary flashlight.
Well, let's see.
Just press the old super ray button here and, well, if you had a battery, you'd get your cosmic beam.
Oh, boy.
How about it?
I don't want it.
Now, wait a minute, Homer. I'm not asking you to pay me for this. I'll give it to you for the camera.
Well, give me the super ray hydrojet cosmic beam and $1.
I'll give you the super ray hydrojet cosmic beam and 50 cents.
$1.
50.
75.
60.
70.
65.
Sold.
You know, Homer, that's the way I like to do business. And if you see Charlie Clark, tell him I've got something for him. But gee whiz, Mother, Charlie's only coming over for a little while tonight.
For how long, dear?
We'll probably haggle a little.
How long will it take you to haggle?
It depends on who's the best haggler. Only I'm sure I can out-haggle him.
Henry, you'll pardon my mentioning anything as unimportant as homework.
That's perfectly all right, Father.
Thank you. When are you going to attend to it?
Just as soon as I've cleaned up Charlie. And don't worry, Father. The assignment tonight is a breeze. It's an essay, and I've got it all down in my mind.
Then may I suggest you start transferring it from your mind to paper?
Pardon?
Start writing.
Well, it won't take me a half hour, honest. We all have to write about the profession I am preparing for.
Well, that's fine. You know, I wasn't much older than you when I started thinking seriously about preparing myself for law.
For law, Father? For law? Well, the only thing that really appeals to me is selling things.
Selling things?
Sure. I buy something for a little, and I sell it to you for a lot.
Why do you want to do that, dear?
Oh, gee, Mother, I guess I have a knack for it, that's all. Maybe it's hereditary. Did we ever have any tycoons in our family?
I don't mind your shooting high, son, but don't overlook the legal profession.
Well...
It isn't bad, you know. I've provided a very comfortable home here, haven't I, as a lawyer?
Well, sure, Father. But wasn't the man that sold it to you a businessman?
He was.
There you are. He's got all your money, and all you got was this house. Boy, I hope that isn't Charlie yet.
But you're expecting him.
Only Toby's supposed to get here first.
I agreed to Charlie, but Toby...
He's part of the same deal, Mother. If you want to see how big business operates, stick around.
Thanks.
Oh, boy, Toby, for a minute I was afraid you were Charlie.
Well, I'm not.
I know it. Come on in.
What do you want me to come over for?
I want you to help me do something. Come on, Toby, we'll go in the dining room.
What's it about, Henry?
First of all, you're positive you don't want to buy a camera?
Henry, I'm in the position of not being able to buy even a package of chewing gum.
Well, look, maybe we can work a little commission out of this. Charlie Clark does want to buy it, see? But he'll try to get it from me cheap.
And what do I do?
You'll wait out here alone, see? And then when you hear Charlie make an offer on my camera, you come into the living room as though you wanted it and offer 10 cents more.
But, Henry, I just explained my financial situation.
You won't need any money, Toby. This is just a way to encourage business.
Henry, you have another guest.
Yes, Mother. I'm getting things ready for him.
I raised Charlie 10 cents?
Sure.
Okay.
Now stay here while I go into the living room.
Okay.
Henry.
Coming, Father.
Hello, Henry.
Hi there, Charlie. Sit down, my friend. Oh, Mother, Father, do you mind if we discuss a little business in front of you? Of course, someday when I have my own office.
Thank you, but I think I'll do some work out in the garage.
Well, there's a frost tonight, Sam. It's too cold to work out there.
Then the basement.
But if you really like to stay here...
I'm not that bloodthirsty.
Sam, I want to show you where I'd like another shelf for preserves.
What did your father mean about not being bloodthirsty?
Oh, it's just a family expression. Here, Charlie, take a more comfortable chair.
What's wrong with this?
Well, I just thought you'd feel better with your head tipped back.
Nah.
How is it out, Charlie? Still cold?
Ice on the puddles.
Early for this time of year.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. How's your family?
They're pretty well. My sister was just vaccinated on her arm.
Say, that reminds me. Still need a camera?
Know where I could get one? Cheap?
I think I could put my hands on one.
What's that in your pocket?
This? Well, I'll be doggone. It's a camera.
Let's see it.
Too bad I can't sell it to you.
You can't?
No. Not for less than $2, anyhow. Did you hear me, Charlie? I say not for less than $2.
I heard you.
Of course, if you don't want it, I have someone that is interested.
Yeah?
Just a second. I thought I heard something out toward the dining room.
Like what?
Nothing. I guess I didn't. You offered me $2, Charlie?
I can hear you, Henry.
I said $2, Charlie?
I haven't got that much.
Oh. Well, how much have you got?
50 cents.
50 cents, that's all?
Here, take back your camera.
But, Charlie, I thought you wanted a camera.
I do.
Well, how are you going to buy it with only 50 cents?
That's what I'm telling you. I can't.
But, Charlie, don't you have any sense of responsibility?
Would you let me swap you anything for it?
What have you got?
Well, would you be interested in a thing that's at home in our attic that cost $8.95 when it was new?
Hey, what is it?
A very good beach umbrella.
A what?
Didn't you ever hear of a beach umbrella?
What would I do with it?
Sit under it. So you don't get sunburned. Don't you know anyone that wouldn't like to get sunburned?
Well, I might be able to do something with it.
It's still as good as new. It's hardly ever been sat under.
You'll swap it for this camera?
And $1.
Now, wait, Charlie. You aren't supposed to be selling me anything. I'm selling you something. That's why I invited you over. Look, I'll give you the camera and 50 cents for the umbrella.
50 cents?
60 cents.
Who said that?
I said it.
Gee whiz, are you here, Toby?
Sure. I found this banana in the kitchen. Is it all right?
Toby offers 60, Henry. Do you make it 7? But listen.
I'll make it 80.
Now, wait, Toby. You don't even know what this is about.
He made it 80 cents, didn't he?
Toby, this is between Charlie and me.
You make it 90, Henry.
No.
I will. It's painted orange and green, Henry.
I'll make it... Now, listen, Toby. Eat your banana. Charlie, I'll offer you the camera in $1.
Sold. Do you want to come over and get it, Henry?
Sure, let's do that.
Henry, I certainly hope you aren't planning to go out in the cold without your windbreaker on.
Well, it's only to get a beach umbrella, Mother. They cost $8.95. I'll be back before you know it.
Hello, Mrs. Voorhees? This is Mary Aldrich. I'm not interrupting your dinner, am I? Oh, fine. Yes, we finished quite a while ago, too. In a way, that's why I'm calling. By any chance, have you seen my brother tonight? He did.
Mary, are you calling?
Yes, Mother. Well, if he comes by again, will you tell him to come home? Thank you. Goodbye. Henry was there, and Mrs. Voorhees is all confused because he went into a long rigmarole about the dangers of winter sun.
Oh, really? Well, this time, Henry will simply have to go without his dinner.
Hi, everybody. Oh, evening, Mother. I don't even want a bite to eat.
Good.
I wouldn't even think of troubling you.
Fine, and my conscience won't bother me. Henry, where have you been?
We phoned all over.
Well, I think the last place... Yes, I just came from Mrs. Ross's.
Did she buy the umbrella?
No, Mary. She said she won't need to keep the sun off her until next July. Mary.
No, Henry. For the 10th time, I don't want a beach umbrella.
Get washed up, Henry. I'll heat up some supper for you.
Mother, I thought you said he wasn't...
I'm weak, Mary.
Now, listen, Mary. You may not want an umbrella, but there are some birthdays coming along in a few weeks.
I don't want an umbrella either.
Nor do I.
Oh, good evening, Father.
Hi, Henry. Alice, I finished that shelf for your preserves downstairs. You want to see it?
Later, dear.
Well, did you make quite a bit on your umbrella, son?
Well, gee whiz, Father, it isn't a question of how much I make on it. I mean, with a valuable bargain like that, it's a question of deciding who I'll let in on the deal. That's the way I look at it.
I'll bet.
Now listen, Mary.
A beach umbrella when the frost is on the pumpkin.
Mary, do you know anybody who's going to Florida?
Well, Evelyn Williams' family is... Oh, no, they're going to Vermont for the skiing. Excuse me, I'll see who's at the door.
Skiing's kind of dangerous, isn't it? I wonder if I could persuade
Henry,
them to go to...
how much have you put into that umbrella so far?
Well, so far only $1.90. But it's all for Mother's present.
You're out $1.90?
Well, I'm out at the moment, but I'm hoping to come back.
From the limb?
Father, I think you're just looking at this as though I weren't getting anywhere. Night before last, I had a flashlight. Then I got a camera with it. Now I've got an umbrella. Don't you call that progress?
Well, I'm only a lawyer. I don't know a thing about big business.
Well, in big business, you have to think big.
Henry, Agnes Lawson's here, and she wants to know if we have any old mayonnaise jars.
Any what?
Hi, Henry. Evening, Mr. Aldrich.
Good evening, Agnes.
What do you want mayonnaise jars for?
I'm collecting them.
That's an interesting hobby.
Mr. Aldrich, my hobby is men, not mayonnaise. I need them for something else, Henry.
Well, there's some in the basement.
Okay, Agnes, follow me.
Be careful on the steps.
Agnes, what do you do with the jars?
Just something. I've been working my head off getting them.
Mayonnaise jars?
Isn't that a bore? I suppose any jar might do, except in the speech that congressman made. He said mayonnaise jars.
You mean they're worth something?
Can you keep quiet about it?
Sure.
I mean, because if more people realize the possibilities, well, everyone in Centerville might start saving mayonnaise jars.
What speech? What congressman?
It was just a squib in the newspaper a week or so ago.
Yeah?
It had to do with conserving tin, see? And this congressman is trying to put through a bill in Congress where sea rations for the Army will be put up in things like mayonnaise jars, for example, instead of tin cans.
Very interesting.
And he said the government could help reduce taxes by buying them at low cost from the public.
Oh, boy. Do you think the bill will pass?
Father said it was just nutty enough to.
How much are they going to pay for the jars?
Well, up to now I've just been collecting. I've got nearly 200.
Gee. Agnes, would you be interested in looking at something I have for sale?
What?
It's in the cellar closet here. How would you like to own that beach umbrella?
Henry, where'd you get it?
You like it?
Henry, yes.
It's the best orange and green one I've ever seen.
Henry, it's beautiful.
Henry, your supper's ready.
Yes, Mother, I'll be right there. Listen, Agnes, how would you like to strike sort of a deal?
What kind?
How many of your jars would you give me if I let you have, without any cost to you whatsoever, this umbrella?
We'll return to the Aldrich family in just a moment. Tonight, your radio will be bringing you the tops in comedy, drama, and news if you dial this NBC station. First, visit with that curly-haired wonder boy, Phil Harris, and his long-suffering wife, Alice. Tune in just for laughs. And then Theater Guild on the Air brings you Wanda Hendricks and Kenny Delmar in Tommy, a Broadway comedy of a pretty girl with a mind of her own. And mystery fans will want to hear the award-winning Dragnet, starring Jack Webb, and presenting another case history from the files of the Los Angeles Police Force. Then there are two of the fine news and special event shows which have kept NBC the leader in the field. Martha Roundtree's public press conference, Meet the Press, and the American Forum of the Air. Stay tuned to your NBC station this evening for more top radio entertainment. And now, getting back to the troubles of Henry Aldrich. Henry, in setting out to raise money for his mother's birthday present, has gone through a series of intricate business transactions, only to end up with some mayonnaise jars and so far not a cent of profit. The scene opens in the Aldrich hallway.
Hello?
It's Alice, dear. Are you busy with anyone at the office?
No, dear.
I just had to call you, Sam. I was in Mrs. Browning's gift shop this morning, and I saw the loveliest china tea set.
Oh?
You can take that "how much is it" sound out of your voice, dear. Mrs. Browning told me Henry had asked her to hold it for him. And, Sam, it's $20. And he told her the price didn't matter. He was in a very successful business.
Henry did seem pretty happy about something.
You saw him today?
He dropped by the office. Wanted to borrow some of my business stationery. Alice?
Yes?
Have you any idea why he'd be writing to Congress?
Good heavens, no.
Well, I thought maybe you might. It seems to have something to do with your birthday.
902, 903, 904, 905, 906.
Alice?
Yes, Sam?
What's this under the sofa?
Mayonnaise jars.
He's keeping that. What's wrong with the cellar?
I don't think there's any more room in the cellar.
Mother, where's my laundry bag?
Henry took it out with him.
What for?
To get more jars, Mary.
Well, my goodness, Henry, I certainly think you're overdoing this.
Must you put those bottles down right here in the living room?
It's only for a second, Father. Mother, if you could have anything for your birthday you wanted, what would you like?
If I could have anything? Not just a book, you mean?
Yes. It's just sort of a hyper-theoretical question.
Well, to be honest, it might be a tea set I saw at Browning's gift shop with lavender flowers on the cups.
Is that right? Lavender flowers?
But I'm afraid it costs far more than I could ever pay for it.
Is that right?
Henry!
What, Mary?
You've got to take those mayonnaise jars off the front porch.
I'll find a place to put them, Mary.
Mother, are you actually encouraging Henry?
Father, I want to make a proposition.
I do not want to buy any of those jars.
Oh, it isn't that, Father. How would you like to invest? Just invest in my business.
What are you doing, Henry? Forming a mayonnaise monopoly?
Gee, maybe I am becoming a sort of empty jar king. Right now, though, I need some working capital.
Do you mean to say you've actually spent all you have on nothing but jars?
Well, gee whiz, why shouldn't I? I'm going to get a swell present for Mother, and I'll have a fortune to spend when Christmas rolls around. Father, do you still wish you could afford to build a wing on the garage for a swell machine shop?
How much have you spent altogether, son?
Just a little over $7.
Now, Henry, there comes a time in every business when the investment must begin to show a profit. Otherwise, a nasty little thing called bankruptcy rears its ugly head.
Oh, don't you worry. Just as soon as the government sends for the jars.
The government?
Just wait, Father.
Henry, do you know what happened to that large jar of mayonnaise I bought yesterday?
Yes, Mother. It's on a plate in the icebox.
Henry Aldrich.
Oh, boy, the mailman.
Henry, breakfast.
Just getting the mail, Mother. Oh, boy, it's here.
Anything for me, Henry?
Yes, sir, but I think it's for me, actually. You see, I wrote it on your stationery.
May I have it, please?
Yes, sir, but if you could read it aloud. I mean, it'll concern me and, in a way, sort of concern Mother.
I don't understand this.
What is it, Sam? Eat your cereal, Henry.
Dear constituent, this man isn't from our state.
Please go on, Father.
It takes a man of your large vision to see the worthiness of the bill I presented to Congress in the interest of conserving tin by using glass jars for military rations.
Oh, boy.
Unfortunately, my bill has been killed in committee.
What?
Moreover, since my own party has not seen fit to renominate me for the first time.
Oh, boy.
Well, Sam, isn't it nice to come home and not find a house full of mayonnaise jars?
Where'd they all go?
Oh, I don't know. I simply came up the front walk this afternoon as a truck was leaving loaded with them.
Mother, has there been a phone call for me this afternoon?
Not that I know of.
Get a good bargain for your jars, Henry?
Boy, did I?
Well.
Sure. I met a boy that lives out on a farm, see? And I just happened to mention casually that I've been saving mayonnaise jars for the government. And right away he wanted to buy them.
I hope you told him the government couldn't use them.
Mother, there wasn't any reason I should tell him, was there?
Dear, I think you should have.
Well, he didn't even ask me, Mother. And in business, if someone doesn't ask you something, you don't tell them.
How much did you make?
Well, that part would be hard to say. I've got to do a little figuring first.
Didn't you sell for cash?
Cash, Father? When I could get a better proposition?
What did you trade the jars for?
Just a little something. And there's always a good market for it.
I hope you didn't have to pay anything in addition to the jars.
Just $2.
You put $2 more.
Henry, you want it on the phone?
I am? It's for me, Mary? Gee whiz. I'll be right back, Father.
I'll be out at the garage.
Hello? Is this the Centerville Meat Market? Well, look. How much would you pay for a pig? A pig? How much a pound? Is that all? Well, gee whiz, my mother was complaining about the price of pork chops. I don't see why she should if a whole pig... Oh, wholesale. Well, I wish you'd come out and look at her. Only remember, I'm in business to make money. Yes, sir. Goodbye.
Who were you talking to, Henry?
Mother, how much did you say you were paying for pork chops?
Wait a minute. Pork chops.
As an average. For the best?
Alice, what do you think I just found out in the garage?
What?
A hog.
Did you say a hog, Sam?
Yes, Alice, in the garage.
Father, let me explain.
You know where it came from?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'll give you just 5 minutes to get it out.
It's my investment.
Alice, dear, would you mind if Henry and I had a serious talk together?
No, dear. I'm afraid it's time.
Sit down, Henry.
Father, may I suggest something?
Sit.
Yes, sir.
This farm boy, what's his name?
Billy Weber.
Oh, yes, Weber. I know his father. He had a bad time of it because of the dry spell last summer.
I know. Billy did say the pig was a little too thin to market. Only I was hoping by the time Mother's birthday came around...
Henry, I think you should give Billy back his pig.
Well, gee, if he was dumb enough to buy those jars... If I sell the pig, I lose only $4 now. If I give her back to Billy, I lose everything. Besides, I don't want those jars back.
I don't either.
I've sunk every cent I have into this.
I'm interested, Henry. What are you going to do?
I won't be able to give Mother even a book. I'll have to cancel the tea set. I'll give him back the pig, Father.
I'm glad.
Anybody home?
In here, Homer.
Hey, you got any more mayonnaise jars to sell?
Why?
You know that Billy Weber you sold them to? Hello, Mr. Aldrich.
Hello, Homer.
Yeah, Homer, what happened?
He sold them. He sold them all. 3,000 of them at a half a cent each.
To who?
The State Agricultural Laboratories. They grow cultures in them.
Half a cent?
He made $15 on the jars, plus what you paid him.
Oh, boy. You know what? I'm going to make Billy take the pig back and give me what he got for the jars.
You are?
Just because his family needs the money shouldn't be any reason why I should let him get away with it.
Naturally. Especially since in the profession you're entering, business is business.
Sure. Supposing I'd been poor and he'd taken advantage of me, how would I have...
How would you have felt?
Well, it would have been a dirty trick. Sort of.
And Henry, did I tell you about Agnes selling your beach umbrella?
To who?
To a junk man. She got $2 for it. He's going to put it on his wagon.
Father, do you think it's actually possible that I'm not cut out for business?
Henry, what do you think?
What?
Mr. Davis from the meat market just went out to look at your pig.
He did?
And Henry, she's a mother. She's a mother.
She's a what, Mary?
She's got 8 little pigs. If you want them off your hands, he'll give you $20 for the whole business.
$20? $20. I'll break exactly even. Father, didn't I tell you my investment would come out all right?
In this national election year, one obligation of citizenship heads all the rest. The obligation of every qualified voter to go to the polls and vote. The ballot you will receive this year is a symbol of your personal dignity. There is no man whose ballot is more important than yours. No man whose ballot will count for more. On Election Day, you will have as much power, as much responsibility in the shaping of your country and your way of life as the most influential person. Don't ignore this priceless possession. Vote as you please, but register and vote. See you at the polls.
Henry, I thought you were going to sell your pigs.
I did, Father. I sold them all.
And what are those bags of feed doing out in the garage?
Gee whiz, Father, that isn't feed in those bags.
No, what is it?
Isn't it clear? Mother's birthday's only 3 weeks off. I've gone back to collecting mayonnaise jars.
Now, wait a minute.
The Aldrich Family is transcribed as written by Clifford Goldsmith. Henry is played by Bobby Ellis and Homer by Johnny Fiedler. Mr. and Mrs. Aldrich are House Jameson and Catherine Roth. Your announcer is Dick Dudley. Listen again next week, same time, same station, for another sparkling half hour with the Aldrich Family.
Good night, everybody.
Another great show with my favorite youngsters. I'm John Henderson. If you'd like to learn more about me, check out thisdaybenny.com.